2 for 52.
So guys, please tell everyone that we are on this meeting. I've sent another mail, by the way, just in case, because this time it's the recurring meeting from the last time only. So just if you have a group or something, just inform them that we are on the same meeting. Good morning, Maso. Let me enable the attendance. B.Tech CS responses. Okay. So I have enabled the attendance.
I think he will have to come in because I don't know what the fitness level with.
So guys, there is actually a correction in one of the programs that I have uploaded. Actually, that particular lecture has so many issues. I, I recorded it at such an odd time. There were so many issues at that time. I made a lot of mistakes with that lecture and and the code I have shared. So yeah. Anyhow, I'm just going to change the slides and the program. So. Uh, by the way, attendance is on, guys. Please mark your attendance. Sahil, this one, 3.1. So the program that I have shared, right? So the computation for d equal to 0 is wrong. it has to be minus b upon 2a. I had written something junk. I don't even know why I wrote that. That was probably at a very odd time of the night I was doing all that. So uh, I'll just correct the slides and the program, and I'll actually I have already sent an email where I have mentioned what is the issue. I'll just correct it on Google Drive as well. Where is it? Yeah, this is the program. T equal to 0 becomes star 2 asterisk. Okay. Right. So yeah, I have made the changes. I'll just have to create the new slides. Yeah, attendance is on, guys. So and by the way, this is now the recurring meeting. So every week, you have to join this same meeting. Okay. Uh, I'm I'm assuming this one has somehow made it through. So it is now in my calendar. I'm not sure what exactly was the issue before. Maybe it was my mistake only. I don't know. Uh, but uh, but it is working now. So just add it to your Google calendars. I guess this is the best way, because the link to the meeting will also be added there itself. So the best way to do this is just simply adding it to the Google calendar. Okay, and I think the Monday meeting too would probably be recurring meeting now. In the next week also we'll be the meeting room will basically be the same. So just somehow do it. Either add it to uh, your Google Calendar, or just bookmark the mail, whatever is fine. Okay. Uh, okay. So yeah. So I've made the changes in the stuff. I have a lot of unread emails. I will reply back to them when after the lecture. Okay. How many people we have? 77 seems to be the. Okay. Any questions from anyone? Ramanuj, you have a question?
Sir, sir,
Yeah,
can I
go
ask
ahead.
a question?
Yeah, go
Sir,
ahead.
yesterday I tried to use the function get s and put s, but it was showing error. It was
You have to include, I think, there might be some library for it. I'll have to check.
okay, sir.
What in the code that I have sent, what is it? Is there any? Uh, I'm not sure. It should give you an error. I think it is part of std lib or something like that. Let me check.
No, sir, it's STDIO, but it's depreciated.
Yeah,
Yes,
get
sir.
a no. You will get a warning, not an error.
No, sir.
Yes, sir, like
It was
the
not
description
printing.
literally says never use this function.
Yeah,
The
yeah. So it
man
will
page
be a
says.
warning, right? It won't be an error.
Okay, sir.
Oh, that might actually be the case. So it is possible that if you have a very recent GCC version, so the idea of deprecation is something like this. When a particular library function gets deprecated, what it actually means is that now you are discouraged from using it, because in a few later versions, okay, not exactly what it is not decided exactly which version, but in a few versions from now, it will be completely removed. This is the idea of deprecating something, that you are basically um, providing developers with an opportunity to change their code, and the idea is that over a period of time this will actually be completely removed. So it could be possible that you might have a very the difference between my GCC version and your GCC version is so high that it has been completely removed. But just send me if you are getting an error, just send me the GCC version that you have, and the screenshot of the error.
Okay, sir.
Okay. uh, okay, any
Sir,
other?
I have a doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, in one of the lectures in homework, you gave percent %s format specifier for for checking the limitations of it. I checked it in a Stack Overflow page. I couldn't understand. It was something overflow, buffer overflow, something.
Yeah. So By the way, buffer overflow is a kind of problem that I would probably talk about buffer overflow after I have discussed what are pointers. Okay, so once you have understood what pointers are, you'll be able to appreciate what is buffer overflow. But for now, just assume that what happens. Okay, let me just check what this link has. Hmm. Oh, sorry. Yeah, continue. Yeah, so that is basically buffer overflow only. Um, I would probably want to talk about buffer overflow a little later once I have discussed what are pointers with you. After that, you should be able to understand what is buffer overflow. But for now, just assume that in very simple terms, it is something like this. What happens if you have declared a character array of, let us say, size 10, and you try to store a string of size 10 or more into that, right? So what exactly will happen? It won't be an error in general, it will be some problem. Okay, and so you will actually overwrite into the area that is not designated for a string. Okay, so it's something like this, that in the memory you have, let us say, 10 consecutive bytes that was reserved for your character array, but now you have actually overshot that. You are now you are now uh, writing into an area that was not supposed to be written. So this is the overall idea of what a buffer overflow is. There used to be something known as buffer overflow attacks, by the way, right? So if any one of you are interested into the field of security, cyber security, you can read more about what are buffer overflow attacks. They are not that easily possible now, but in the beginning, right? I mean, when computing started, buffer overflow attack was one of the most common and most intelligent attacks that used to happen on systems. So anyhow, so basically the idea is that strings are a bit tricky to handle in C and C++, because there are so many checks that you have to make, and that is why the later languages like Java and Python, they actually do a much better job with string than C and C++. From what I understand, the C++ standard template library has a lot of things that are useful. It's just that uh, you know you can still goof up everything, because one of the issues with C++ is that whatever you can do in C, that is still allowed to do in C++, right? So you can be, in theory, working in C++, but you might actually start using functions from the C domain, and so then you can still mess up your code. So while C++ has improved drastically, there are still ways to fall in a trap. So gettest is basically a trap, right? I mean, usually you should not use it, and the reason I wanted you guys to read more about it is because you have to understand this whole concept of a string. Okay, so what exactly is the null character? um, you know so what is the importance of null character? You have to appreciate this, right? I mean, the moment, because this null character is something that is found in almost all other languages as well, right? So it's just that it is not explicitly provided to you, but yeah, null character is there in other languages as well. So if you understand the whole concept of how a string is stored in memory, that is exactly what I want for now. Okay, we'll revisit this buffer overflow discussion once we have understood what are pointers. Okay,
Sir,
so
so
yeah,
if
go
there
ahead.
are so many sir, if there are so many problems like with overflow in, like if we in arrays, if we write more than what is designated in
Hmm.
strings, so sir, why don't the language just create like uh, if we have given five and we write six, the sixth one is automatically ignored.
That
Like
is what,
we
right? So,
like
yeah, so that is what. So basically, the actual standard library functions which were written. See, this is what happens that uh, we are talking about functions that were probably written probably in 80s or something like that, right? So you realize that there is something a problem when you first recognize it, right? In the beginning, computing was the computing itself was uh, very sacred, right? I mean, very few people could even have access to a computer and where you can do all these things. So the behavior. See, why are we doing all this? Because we know that it is possible that if I have declared a string of size 10, my user can actually enter a string of size 10 or more, and ruin my plans. In the beginning, when these languages evolved, um, computers were not really accessible to all human beings, right? I mean, they were used by actually scientists to do their stuff, right? So you can expect a lot more discipline. This is why it is so hard to mess up stuff in C, because C was not really meant to be a idiot proof language. Okay, C was meant to be a language that was supposed to be used by people who really wanted some genuine task to be done. As I said, right? So the later languages, when people realized that programming languages will be used by people who would probably not be that you know probably will not be that disciplined. So then we started all these checks that we have to check what is the string size and stuff like that. So it's a difficult question to answer, why did not they check this when they created C. But this is probably an answer that in the beginning, the first C was a big milestone in the programming world. Okay, everything before C was probably too low level. So C was probably the first effort where there were efforts before C as well, but it was not really that popular. They were not really that popular, but C became so popular because at that time people thought it is something eureka, right? I mean, something that has that is out of the world. So it's nobody really thought about the problems it is creating for the next generation. Okay, so I hope attendance is going on. Yeah, attendance is going on. So let us start, guys. Any volunteers for today? Those guys who have not done it before. Any volunteers for the Shepherd team? We are going to discuss lecture 3.2 by the way today. Okay. The 3.2 is arrays. So introduction to arrays. It's a very short lecture. Okay. We will come back to arrays again. So I'm just trying to pace these concepts in such a way that they make logical sense to someone who's studying it for the first time, right? Because when you study it from a book, this is the problem that I find with books, that you will have a chapter on array, which will talk everything about array from beginning to end, um, and this is the problem, right? Because in order to understand array, you probably need a better understanding of pointers, and if I want to teach you pointers, you first have to be mature enough to understand what pointers can do, right? So it's a circular problem, what exactly should I teach you first? This is something that I realized. So that is why what I have done is there are many concepts which I have basically divided into multiple. Okay, Sahil, have you been a shepherd before? Okay, Sahil, then just wait. We'll see. Okay. Uh, so this is the idea that I have broken down the concepts into multiple parts, and I will not teach you the way it is taught in a typical book, where there you have one chapter that is dedicated towards it, and it talks about that concept from beginning to the end. That I am not going to do. So I will introduce certain concepts to you in chunks. So this is the first introduction to arrays. Okay, this is a very basic one. We are not going to go into too much details here. The idea of an array, that is all you have to take out from this. So who's going to be the shepherd? Anyone other than Sahil? Sahil has said he would like to be, but he has already been a shepherd. Anyone who has not been a shepherd who would like to be a shepherd today? Yeah, by the way, I was also following the match, so India has won, so now we can study. Uh, um, so, so any any shepherds? Yeah, Pranav, I know you will be there. Uh, anyone who's not been a shepherd? No one, yeah? So then I'll have to start picking. That is why I'm asking this. Okay, so let me open your batch list. Yeah, Nehal, Pranav, Sahil, I know. But let me see if there are others because I want you guys to speak, right? Um, this is you have to start picking up skills on your own. There are certain skills that no one will teach you. You have to pick them on your own. Okay, let's start. Sudeep, CSAI. Sudeep,
Yes, sir.
would you have you been a shepherd before?
No, sir.
So you are a shepherd.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and you are also the shepherd who's going to send me an email right after the lecture with having the names of all the shepherds. Okay.
Okay, sir.
CSAI. Okay, someone else from CSAI. Uh, so there is a very interesting name, just Mann, MANN. Who is Mann? Very interesting name. Mann, are you there? Not there? Okay, guess उसका मन नहीं है पढ़ने का, I guess. um, so Vartika Gupta, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Have you been a shepherd before?
No, sir.
So you are the second shepherd.
Okay, sir.
I'll pick at least one more. Muhammad Zaid, are you there? Muhammad Zaid, not there. Okay. Uttaran Das. Uttaran Das.
Yes, sir.
Have you been a shepherd before?
No, sir.
Okay, so you are a shepherd. Okay. Okay. So now we have three. Let me pick two from CS. CS. This is CS1, right? Okay. CS1. Gagan P. Is Gagan P there?
Sir.
Gagan, have you been a shepherd before?
No, sir.
Okay, so you are another shepherd. So now we have four and one more. Marla Gaurav. Are you there? Marla Gaurav.
Yes, sir. Sir, it's Gaurav.
Okay, sorry. So, I mean, I'm just reading the name from the list that I've got. Okay, sorry. So yeah, Gaurav. Gaurav, have you been a shepherd before?
No, sir.
So you are the fifth one. Okay. So Sudeep, you are noting down the names, right? So these are the shepherds for the day, and you will send me an email at the end of the day, at the end of the lecture. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So let me start a document. Share. By the way, we covered everything yesterday, right? I mean, there is any queries from whatever we covered yesterday. I actually these documents that I prepared, they are actually temporary documents. I simply delete them after the lecture. So I don't have a list of these questions anyhow. It is getting recorded, but yeah, I don't have those lists anyhow. So if you have a query from yesterday, just Just start with it and then I'll keep writing the questions. Okay, so I'm assuming everything went fine. We anyhow had a longer lecture yesterday, so I guess things got cleared. Okay, so let me start with this. So Shepherds, you can start now. I'll keep on adding questions here. Okay.
Can I start or someone else want to?
Go
Hello, am
ahead.
I audible? So basically, array is a data type that comes because it suppose someone want to initialize multiple variables having the same data type or containing the same kind of like integers or floats or char. So we have a data type defined as array, which will easy be which will be easy to define, and uh, we can access sorry we can initialize all the contents of the array at a single time, and by writing the index on the in the array subscript, we can access all the characters or integers from the array time to time when we need to. Others can continue.
Array is basically like a list. It helps you to use all your information more easily and in an organized way. Like how we saw in the PPT that marks can be tabulated. I mean, you just have to create one name for marks, like marks, and then for different student we can just give the indices like 0, 1, 2, 3, and marks will be entered, and therefore it can be easily organized. Otherwise, we have to declare marks every time with different name.
One thing about the array is that you have to store all the similar type of data in it. It means if you have initialized an array with an int, that then you cannot store any string or character in it.
Yeah, I would just like to add to that. Array is it's a data type that has it's a collection of similar data types like integer, float, character, boolean. These are all primitive data types, right? And array is it's a derived data type. It's derived from these primitive data types, meaning whatever you do, all the like the elements that array contains should be of the same data type.
Anyone has any issues, please ask. Okay, there is some chat that I have not seen. Um, yeah, Sahil, you have to be more specific. Okay, so I'm just repeating this one. So try to put this on, try to unmute yourself and ask. Okay. Uh, so the question was, what is the problem? And I think Uttaran has given the answer that array can't have variable size. So that is the answer. Yeah. So Sahil, we have shepherds today. Okay, we'll ask for your help when we won't have more shepherds. Uh, okay. Uh, okay. Uh, okay. Fine. So Divya, have you been a shepherd before?
No, sir.
Okay. So then, okay, we'll make you a shepherd tomorrow. Okay. We have.
Okay, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
it's okay. So you are the first shepherd for tomorrow. Keep this in mind. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so let us continue with the thing. So anyone has any doubts about what exactly an array is? Please ask now. So I guess it is clear to everyone. Um, so then we can move to the second question, Shepherds.
Okay, what information is required to create an array? Okay, so the syntax of array is something like this, right? First, the data type of array comes, then the name of the array comes, and then the size of the array comes, right? So technically, uh, uh, only these two are required. One is the data type of the array you are going to create, and the other is the size of the array.
Any queries?
I will like to add the basic information required is the data type in of the entries which you want to enter in the array, and name of the array, the size, and the entries in braces separated by commas, or in strings you can do it by double quotes.
Any queries? Any queries? Please ask.
Basically, there are 4 to 5 ways with which you can create an array. Means syntax is same, but the way is different in each way. Like you can simply write what you have to do input in array, like int array 4, and then you in curly braces input 4 values that you have to enter, or you can simply string array then equal to in double quotes you can write what you have to enter. So there are 3 to 4 ways.
So yeah, any questions related to this part? That what, and again, this is the information that they have just talked about. The syntax might vary slightly from one language to the another to another. So for example, in Java, you can also put the square brackets right after the data type. So you can basically write something like this int square brackets arr. So this is also fine in Java, for example, right? So but the actual syntax to create an array might be different in different languages, um, but the concept is still the same, that you need two pieces of information. You need to know the type of that particular array, and you need to know the size of that array. And this is a very important point that okay, let me add a question. You guys can ask a query, ask any queries. Okay, I guess it is covered in the in question 3 anyhow. So if we have no doubts, we can move to question 3, Shepherds.
So I would like to speak. This is illegal to because in array we have put size, and size is actually a variable. But in newer versions we can do this, but still it is not recommended to do it because might run your code in older version and it may fail for him. So what we should do is when we are using array, we should just use constant and put the number like 10 inside this size part.
We can use a constant or a variable as the size of the array, but the thing is that we should declare the size at the beginning, and it cannot be changed towards the end of the program. Like we want 10 to be 9 or 11, it cannot be done.
So technically, the issue is something like this. There are something known as constants that you can. So they are basically uh, they're more of a symbols. Okay, so there is something known as hash define in C. So essentially, what you do is hash define is basically saying I'm just creating another alias and an alias for a particular number as well, or any other thing, right? Aliases can be created for other stuff as well, but but most common thing that we use aliases for is these things, right? Creating constants. So what we do is we do something like this before the main. I'll just add it here probably. I have not talked about it because I will talk about these pre-processor things towards the end, but still I thought at least telling you this much is fine. So you can do something like this, by the way. And then, you start with int main, uh, then here, and then uh, so this is possible, but then this is not allowed. This is not allowed. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here is, even though it looks like a variable, this is by the way legal. Even though it looks like a variable, it is not really a variable. This is basically a constant. Okay. It's just that I have given that constant a name. So in that case, this is not possible. You will get a syntax error here. Okay. You will basically get an error that this is a constant, you cannot change it. uh, but the overall idea is that once you declare an array, its size cannot be changed. This is the overall idea I'm trying to tell you, that even on those compilers where you are allowed to use, as Uttaran has said, that in the newer versions you are allowed to use a variable to declare the size of an array. But even if you use that, and even if you change the value of variable later, it doesn't mean that the size of array also gets changed. The size of array remains exactly the same as you do it at the time of declaration, irrespective of what compiler you use, irrespective of, I think, what language you use either, right? So um, making the process longer, it is not making the process longer. So what happens is, let me tell you, when do people use this hash define. So let us say I have an array of which whose size is 100, right? Now when I'll write my loops, right, you understand, we'll talk about it. Actually, I should add a question about it. This is the first, and what are the first and last indices of an array? Okay. So what happens is, when you are writing a loop to browse through an array, what will be the loop? The loop will basically run. Okay, by the way, the loop lecture is already online. I hope at least some of you have seen it. If not, you'll watch it today. But the idea is, if you want to use an array, you have to go to each index, and you start from some number and you go to some other number. You would not want to write these numbers in your code. It is easier to write something like size minus 1 instead of writing exact numbers, because let us say tomorrow, if the requirements change, now you need an array of size 20 rather than 10. You'll have to go in and browse through your code, and wherever you have written 10, you have to make it 20. So this is a nice idea, that you first define a constant, and wherever you use in your code, you use the constant instead of exact numbers. Then all you have to do is, if something changes, if your requirements change, you simply go and change the value of the constant on the top, and everything else remains exactly the same. Does it make sense that why do we use constants in the code? We do that because even if there is a place in my code where I have to use a constant, if there is a chance that this constant might change over a period of time, then whenever that change occurs, I will have to open my code file and have to find out, I have to do a find replace. So instead of doing that, um, no, Jed, this hash define is something known as a pre-processor directive. Okay. I do not want to talk about preprocessor directives right now, because you really don't need them. It is similar to hash include. Um, uh, uh, no, this has not been made legal. I mean, Himanshu, the only thing that they have made legal is that you don't, so size does not have to be a hash defined thing, right? It could be this as well. This is what they have done in the later versions. Okay. So in the strict C, if you want to use something like this, it must be defined as a constant like this. In the newer version, I don't need this, this is fine, this is legal. So that is all that they have done in the newer version. It doesn't mean that you can change the size of the array. The array size will still remain the same. So if at the time of creating the array, the value of size was 10, then array gets created with size 10. It doesn't matter, you can keep on changing the value of size later, but the array size remains the same. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
sir, I
Sir,
have a doubt.
Go ahead.
uh,
Sir,
sir,
what if we declare 10 with const int? Can we use it? The
Yes, yes,
const
yes,
int
yes,
size
yes,
and
yeah,
then even
yes,
in
yes,
older versions?
yeah, it will work. So basically, you have to tell the compiler it is a constant. That is the idea. That if it is a constant, it works. Okay.
sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
sir, can't we say that the constant size of array is because of the memory allocation? I mean, in the case
Yes,
of arrays, we use stack memory allocation, and in the case of strings and vectors, we use heap memory.
yes,
Again,
yes, yes, Navi. That is
I
exactly
think
the
that,
case. I'm not planning to. I was not planning to talk to you guys about heap and stack. But this is the reason that when you declare an array like this, the memory is getting allocated in the stack. So you need to know exactly how much amount of memory to be allocated. But when you do dynamic memory allocation, it gets allocated from heap. So you have a little more, leeway there. That is the idea.
but the heap have its own problems because there is memory leakage problem there
Yes,
also,
yes,
so we
yes.
can't store data there.
So when we'll start, when we will study pointers, we will discuss these things. That what are the major issues with using dynamic memory allocation? Okay, so Sahil was asking some question. Constant and not. That is the idea, Sahil. That if you write it, if you use a variable like this, the idea is you can actually create an array dynamically. So for example, when you'll start doing these competitive coding problems, the problems will be formulated something like this. They will say on the first line of the input file, there will be a number that will tell you how many test cases are there. Okay. Then based on that, the next n lines will have one test case each, something like this. Okay. When you start doing competitive coding, you will come to know about these things. So essentially, in that case, what you really want is you want to declare an array, for example, of the exact size that the user provides. Okay. So even the size of the array, even though it is going to be constant throughout the program, the actual size can be taken as a parameter. That so if the user wants, he can create an array of size 5 or 50. So this is the idea, that if you allow a variable there, right? And this is what the later versions of the compiler does. You get a bit more leeway, you get a bit more flexibility.
Sir, I read in a your lectures or some link that even if we change the size, like we have written int size is equal to 10 and int array uh,
Mm,
size. Even
mm,
if we change the size afterwards, after in the
mhm.
middle of the program, it won't change the
Yeah. Yes.
range of array. So sir,
That is
what is the use, sir? Why can't we directly write like int array 10 and
okay. So let us take up some example. Only then will you probably be able to understand. So let us say I want to create a program which is basically more like a dictionary. Dictionary, as in the user is going to give me some words, and I have to keep them in the dictionary order. Let us just assume it like this, right? So now, and let us assume that each okay, dictionary might mean two-dimensional arrays. So, and I have not taught you two-dimensional arrays. Let me take take a different example. Uh, so let's just say I want to sum n numbers. Okay, I have written a program whose idea is that the user will give me n numbers and I will sum them up and I'll give the output as this. Now, how many numbers do I want to sum? What I'll do is I'll write a program where I say enter the value of n. Okay, the user says I want to add 5 numbers, or I want to add 10 numbers, or I want to add 15 numbers. So the first input that the user gives me is the number of numbers he is going to give me, and after that I basically ask, okay, so provide me 5 numbers, or provide me 10 numbers, or provide me 15 numbers, and all those numbers I'm going to get stored inside an array. So exactly what size of the array should I declare? One option is that I declare an array of a huge size, right? So maybe 10,000, and I assume that the user will never want more than 10,000 numbers to be added up. Or I can basically use the first input from the user as the parameter to creating my array. Okay, so in that case I will only create an array of exactly the size that my user wants. Does it make sense? That basically the size of the array still remains the same throughout the program. So once I create it, it cannot be changed from 15 to 14 or 15 to 10. But the actual size, so every time my program runs, the array is created with a different size, and that different size can be inputted from console. So you can take this input from the user, right?
Okay,
But
sir, we are taking it like C in we use for integer.
yes, yes,
We will have
yes.
to give input in the terminal.
Yeah, so you can take the
Oh,
size of the array so okay, let me write it like this, then it will make sense. So this is what I'm saying. um, okay, this print, and then I do something like this. Now does it make sense why size could be
yes, sir, yes, sir.
right? So this is the idea, that a user can decide what size of array he or she wants, if it is allowed. If this this type of declaration is allowed in your compiler, this is the advantage that you get. It doesn't mean that you can change the size of the array after this particular statement. Okay, so even if you change size to 9, array will still remain the size 10 if the user entered 10. Does it make sense? But you can create the
Yes.
array of a variable size. Yeah, Karthik, you had a question. Please unmute and ask, otherwise I'll read. Size, and also define another constant with the name. um from what I understand, it will give you an error. Again, the latest compiler side, but it has to give you an error. There is no way of figuring out how to differentiate between the two. Usually there is a way in which what we do is we basically check for the scope. So okay, okay, Karthik. So there is, when I'll discuss functions, I will talk about scope. So if there is a variable that was declared in the global scope, you can hide it by declaring another variable in the local scope. But I'm not sure if that is applicable with constants, because constants have global scopes. So hash defined things, they have global scopes. So I am not sure. This colon thing is something that you'll get in C++, Uttaran. This is
Sir,
not a,
we can define an array globally. I mean, that increase the size.
yeah, yeah, you can of course do that. uh, colon, I'm not sure. I mean, Uttaran, even for this, it is a bit misty for even me. From what I remember, it is probably in C++. Again, the boundaries have actually merged, right? uh, what exactly is allowed in C and what exactly is not allowed in C, because C and C++, their development has been so so overlapped with each other that sometimes it becomes difficult to remember what is basically a part of C and what is not a part of C. I don't think this is a part of C, but I may be wrong. Someone can try to find out if you can use the colon colon thing in C as well. You can find it out as a run and tell me. Yeah, Naveed, you had some more comments. Okay. Yeah, so you can declare an array globally. That is if that was your question, yes, you can declare the array globally. It is fine. I mean, I have not talked about global variables because I have not talked about functions yet. After I have talked about functions, I will tell you what are global variables.
No, sir. Actually, it was the question he was asking if we can store infinite numbers in arrays. So, matlab, we can extend array size to some extent if we declare it globally. But again, there can't be infinite size array.
No, no. So even then, Naveed, even if you declare it globally, the size will still remain fixed. I mean, it's
Yes,
not.
that's
Yeah,
what I was saying.
yeah. The size will still remain fixed. So this is in fact one of the major challenges with arrays, that arrays are always of fixed size. Right? Yeah. So Uttaran, I mean, this is what I remembered, right? I mean, let me be very honest. It's been a long time since I've coded in C or C++. So, but I remembered that this colon colon operator is only in C++. It is not in C. Uh, yeah, scope resolution operator doesn't work in C. That is what I was trying to say. Okay. So, yeah, so this was the idea that let's move to the next question. I think this everyone knows, but anyone has a doubt with question 4, please ask your shepherds. So the answer is 0 and size -1, but if anyone has any doubts, please ask. Yeah, so Sham, just a minute. So no one has a query with question number 4. Everyone understands what it is. Then we can move to question 5, and that is when Shyam we can answer your query. Jay, let me answer your query, or some shepherd can answer. So Jay has a query, guys. Please answer it. Shepherds. So Jay has a question on chat. Jay, you can probably unmute and ask.
So I want to ask that since array is also a type of data type only, so does it has a storage restriction like in short it has by 2 bytes or 4 bytes like that?
Well, I'm not sure, but array is a user-defined data type, so we can uh, give it the size, and it will be of that size only, which will be give.
Can you please repeat? I did not understand it.
Array is a user-defined data type. When we declare it, we give the size, so you can give as much size as you can. But I'm not sure. I've never tried to.
Actually, it has limit 10 to the power 8 in a local variable if we define it locally.
So practically, yes, there has to be a limit for everything, because you don't have infinite memory. Um, uh, but yeah, I mean, if for most cases, right, the limits are anyhow they're anyhow defined based on your particular implementation. Um, so for now you can simply assume that there is no limit. Let me also say this. I mean, in most cases, if you are required to declare arrays of sizes of thousands of elements, maybe you are already in a place where you don't need array, you need something more advanced. Okay. So we will study a little bit about dynamic memory allocation, but the idea is that usually when we use arrays, the amount of space that we can create is kind of okay, right? I mean, you can create thousands of elements of arrays, and that should be fine. um, if a day shall come when you have to look at what is the maximum sized array you can create, probably you are now beyond that point. You know, you don't need array, you need something more advanced. So for now, just assume that you know, you have sufficient amount of memory to declare arrays. Okay. Yeah, vector is the answer. And so basically you need something more advanced than array. If you have to talk about sizes, you know, maximum sizes, then for now don't worry about it, Jay, right? Just create arrays as if you have all the space in the world. Okay. So I guess uh, mm, yeah, Uttaran, I mean, you are right? I mean, there are practical limits to everything. Um, Certain languages have made it more explicit. In other languages, you have to do these kind of calculations and stuff like that. But yeah, of course, there has to be a practical limitation to everything. So let's just discuss the last query, guys. Last question. We have about 5 minutes. So let's just discuss the last question, and we can, you know, Shepherds, please take it up now. Last question, guys.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So character array is it's a type of array in which all the elements are characters. How it's different from other arrays we have? Well, uh, that's where the catch is. I mean, the character array is nothing but a string. And string in strings, there's one peculiar thing, that is the last element has to be \0. So I think that's another difference between character array and other arrays. I mean, other arrays, meaning arrays, the data type of the arrays can be anything, right? It can be integer or float or double or anything. But if it's a character array, then it's a string.
Character arrays can also be initialized with the entries in double quotes, while other arrays cannot do it.
Yeah, this is the point. Okay, so that was my question, that you can use double quotes to initialize array, but for other arrays you have to use that braces syntax. And the reason you are allowed to do that is because character arrays also work work like strings, so they can be used to store strings. Okay, so let me point this out. Character arrays have all the properties that a typical array has, right? So it's not like they are in somehow different from others. It's just that there is an interpretation thing. Okay, they can be interpreted as strings as well. Okay, and when you want to interpret them as string, there is an additional constraint that the last character should be \0. So this is the overall thing. You can still treat them like a typical array. Okay, you can treat them as you know, different characters and not really part of a word or a sentence. But they can, you know, behave in a dual fashion. Okay, they have that what is it, which particle has dual nature? Electron, is it? It is a particle as well as it is a uh, it is, yeah, right.
Electron,
So
photon.
yeah, sorry, yeah, photon, sorry. So it has a dual nature, right? Uh, it is both yeah, sorry, it's been far too long since I studied all those things, but yeah, you understand, right? So they basically can behave in a dual fashion. Okay, technically all particles are. So thank you, guys. You know, I revised my basic sciences when I talked with you guys. So yeah, um, yeah, wave and particle. Yeah, thank you. That was the term I was looking for. Um, okay, so yeah, so basically character arrays are both wave and particle. You can treat them as char arrays, and at the same time you can treat them as strings. So this is the overall idea. Don't worry too much about strings. There will be a dedicated lecture on string operations towards the end of the course. But I just wanted to give you a brief introduction to what array is. Okay. So as of now, don't worry, we'll have another lecture on array probably in the next or the next to next week. So then I will give you some more information about array. But for now, just understand that arrays are just collection of variables of the same type. That is what they are. Their sizes are fixed. If you want to access them, you have to access them with their indices, the individual variables. The indices start from 0 and run up to size -1. Okay, so this is all as of now that you need to know about array. We will get to know more about arrays in the later lectures. Okay. And we are out of time, so sorry guys if this was not enough. We can take up more discussion on lecture 3.2 tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's lecture is not really going to take 1 hour of time, so if you have more queries on strings, we can take it up tomorrow. Okay. And it is your batch, right? Okay, fine, Manshu. Okay, and Divya is the shepherd already for tomorrow, so we'll find more shepherds. Um, and Sudeep, you are supposed to send me an email. Okay,
Okay, sir.
and
Can I ask a question?
yeah, go ahead.
Sir, what is the ASCII value of \0?
0.
Okay, sir. So it will be treated null character.
Yeah, this is the null character, so it has ASCII value 0.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So is it your batch who's going to have a lab today? I keep
Yes, sir.
forgetting. Okay, so
Yes,
the
sir.
lab starts at 3. It is a 1 hour lab. Sankalp, yes, you can be a shepherd tomorrow. You are picked straight away. So the lab will start at 3. I will send you the problem probably at 2:45. It is not a big problem. So I'll send you the problem at 2:45. The lab will start at 3. It is a 1 hour lab. So we will have a lab from 3 to 4. Everything else is exactly the same. This time you need to know how to use the zip command. Okay, even though it will be a single file, I want it to be zipped because you should understand how zip works. So please go through some of the links that I have sent over email. Understand how zip command works. Zip your files, and that the zipped files must be sent to your TAs. Okay. We'll Yeah, go ahead. Somebody had any queries? Yeah, Nehal, you'll have a different TA. The TAs will be changed every week. Okay, I don't want everyone to get the same TA, right? Maybe some TA is more lenient than the other, so you'll get a chance to interact with all the TAs. Yeah, so your TAs will send you an email like which students are going to be. Yeah, this is a C-based lab, and you have to show your work in terminal, Sahil. I mean, not terminal as in some bash. Um, yeah, you can use anything you want. It's up to you, Ayushman.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, go
Hello,
ahead.
sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, if you are using that graphical interface of Ubuntu, so is it necessary to give the zip command on terminal? We can directly zip
No.
the
You can
files.
create it anywhere. So that code blocks thing, right, Ayushman?
Yes, sir.
You'll still have to show the output on bash. You can write the code anywhere you want. I'm
Yes,
fine
sir.
with it, but you have to copy it, paste it in a terminal, run GCC, and show it to the TA.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Sir, I can use Microsoft that inbuilt one.
You can use anything that you want. The final thing has to be shown to the TA on GCC. That's it. And
Yes, sir.
even GCC, I understand, can be run on WSL. So I have no problems with WSL based GCC and stuff, right? It has to be GCC. That's it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Jay, haven't you guys gotten your marks as of now? That
No,
I have
sir.
already asked the TAs to send you the marks individually. Okay. Okay, I will talk to the TAs. They are, I mean, they told me that the marks have been finalized, so I asked them to release it to you. Um, I will talk to them once again. Okay, you should have gotten your marks by now. I will ask them to do that. But yeah,
Sir,
yeah, go ahead.
so can we transfer the file from the Linux to the host operating system and then zip it and email to the TA?
Bilkul, no issues. You can do anything you want. Okay, you have no issues. I have no issues with that part. Okay, manage it the way you want. The file has to be sent to your TA. You zip it in Linux. You zip it in Windows. You send the email from terminal. You send the email from Chrome or Safari or Firefox. I don't care. The only thing that you have to do is during the demo you have to show the stuff on GCC. Uh, no, Sahil, it's not like that, it's very hard for me to scold people, right? I mean, even though I try to be rigid during the exams, but it is not really my nature to scold people. So it becomes difficult for me to scold. Only thing that try to do is if I do not want to talk to someone, I just do not reply to their mail or their messages. But it's very hard for me to scold someone. So no, I will talk to them. I will just tell them that because they told me that they will release the marks yesterday itself. Okay, so that is why I'm a bit surprised that you haven't gotten your marks. But your marks have been finalized. That is what I came to know. Probably they have to put it in a spreadsheet and everything, so that might have taken some time. But you will get your marks. Okay, don't worry. So I will talk to them. You will get probably your marks by either today evening or tomorrow. No SH files. Today will be zip files. You will get so don't worry about what exactly you will have to send. When I will prepare the problem statement, there will be a deliverables section. In that deliverables section, it will be written exactly what is supposed to be sent. Okay, so that will be clearly mentioned in every problem, in every lab problem statement. Okay, so don't worry about those things. So you guys have a lab at 3. Your TAs will send you an email about which TA you have been allotted to. You can ask tomorrow, Jay. I mean, we'll have a lot of time tomorrow, so you can ask tomorrow. Tomorrow's lecture is a very short lecture. It's I think 11-minute lecture, and that too with really no code. So you can ask tomorrow. Okay. So thank you guys. I have overshot it. I'll meet you guys in the lab probably. Uh, yeah, lab will always be from 1 week behind, Divya, right? So whatever you are studying right now, that will not be a part of your lab this week. It will be the part of your lab next week. So every time you will do the lab based on the previous week's lecture. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you, sir.